everyone, I'm Allie with PotomacBeads. Join me in making this really exciting Starlight Pendant. We're going to be making it based on Vila's Bead app design that she did with the actual tablet, making the design and then bringing it to fruition using the actual bead shapes. Gather your materials listed above, and there's links below if you still need to shop with us online, and help me in making this awesome new pendant. So the first thing I wanted to do before even starting the design was show you a printout of Vila's Bead app pattern. She chose to do this in Christmas colors. I'm going to be doing it in blues and whites with you. But you can see how she used the actual lines to figure out where the thread pass was going, as well as the different beads and their shapes to create the original design for this piece. She then took the actual materials that she purchased from PotomacBeads.com and made the piece. So I'm going to be going along. I'm not even making it ahead of time because I want to show how easy it is to take what she created on the Bead app and actually make it into fruition. So I'm going to be sitting it kind of to the side of me and just going along and creating on the fly with it because it's a quite easy and simple design, and I think I can do it specifically just with looking at the cool Bead app printout. So starting out, I have some white wildfire thread. And I know I hate to use white when we're actually doing a video, but because I'm using crystal matte DiscDuos, I have to use white because otherwise you're going to see through it. So the first thing that she did was pick up six of her SuperDuo beads. I'm using the SuperDuos in the white and black duet in that matted AB color. And I'm making sure, because I'm using the duets, that I'm going to pick them all up through the white side first because I want them all facing the same direction. So we're going to stick on six of our duets there. Those are going on. And I'm going to let those drop down towards the end of the thread. I'm going to tie them into a knot. That's going to get my original kind of star shape that she started with. So there I have it. I'm leaving a little bit of a tail here so that way I can come back and catch onto that and retie the thread off if I need to. From here, I need to step up from the first hole to the second hole. I'll make sure to do this on the side that is white since I'm using white thread, and then I won't see it. So I stepped up from the bottom hole to the outer hole, and now in her design she has the another row of the SuperDuos with 11O seed beads. Actually, those are the green colors, so they're going to be the 15O seed beads in between each. So we're going to pick up our 15, and I have that in a matte silver lined Capri blue. And I'm going to pick it up in the same fashion that I want to pick up the white side first. So 15, SuperDuo, 15, and into the next hole of the SuperDuo. That was put on in the first row. So 15, flip that SuperDuo over. If you're using a regular SuperDuo and not one of the duets, you don't need to keep track of which side you're picking up. You can just pick up any. Put on that 15 on the SuperDuo, 15, SuperDuo, 15. Sometimes it's also easier to see an actual rendering of a pendant and go with that design rather than the actual thing. So the nice thing about the Bead app is that it creates a really good pattern. And I don't think she's ever created any patterns or anything before, so it was really exciting. Part of the thing that I love is seeing people actually create and make their own. So Vila was able to do that with the Bead app and then actually made a sample that she posted in our Facebook group. So I'm coming through here and I'm finishing off, adding in my last of my duets, again picking up through the white side, and I'm sewing through them back through that original SuperDuo that my thread was coming through. And then I'm also going to be sewing through that duet. Now I'm coming off on the outer edge, so I am going to have to step up on that black side, but you really won't see it that much. Stepping up then from the bottom to the top hole here. Coming out then, I'm looking at, okay, I'm to the next level and the next layer, and now I see she's got 15s again. And with 15s, I'm going with a 15 and an Eva bead. Our exclusive Eva bead is going in there as well. It's looking like she's going up through it completely, catching on, doing the whole thing and coming down. So we're gonna do that all in one step that I have here, and I'll keep that kind of off to the side so you can see it. So I'm gonna come out through my SuperDuo, add on a 15, pick up one of my 6 of my Eva beads that I'm putting on. When I'm coming out the top of the Eva, go ahead and add your DiscDuo. And the DiscDuo is 6mm, so you could add a bunch of different 6mm beads here too. And it sits really, really nicely right inside the Eva. And then she switches to 5 of the 11O seed beads. So I have those in the Crystal Labrador full color. And I'm actually only gonna put on 3 to start. Then I'm gonna go up and make that little picot trim. So I'm gonna pick up 3 of my 15s. And then I'm gonna circle around back through that 11O that my thread is coming out of. That's gonna get me that little picot trim on the top there. Pull that down whenever you're creating like a little picot trim. Pull that down so you don't see a lot of extra thread showing. Add 2 more of your 11O seed beads and back down through the DiscDuo. From here, I'm gonna go back through that second hole of the Eva bead and out. So simple. She knew that it fit together because of working with it on the bead app. And now again, I'm just gonna use a 15, go through the next SuperDuo hole, and then ready for the next one. So again, I put a 15 on, and I put my Eva bead on, put on a DiscDuo, let that all kind of drop down next to the design. Go ahead and put on 3 11s in that Crystal Lab full color. From there, 3 15s. And then after those 3 15s, we're gonna circle around by going back through the 11O that our thread was coming out of. Pull that nice and tight, and then make sure to pull the thread so that way you don't see any extra thread there. Add 2 more 11s into the DiscDuo, into the Eva bead. Sometimes you can do it at the same time. Sometimes you need to do those one at a time. Add a 15, and then on to the next SuperDuo. So simple. I have 2 of my little edges done here of my Starlight Pendant. I'm gonna continue adding in 4 more of my Eva beads till I get my entire Starlight Pendant design completed. We'll go ahead then, she doesn't have a bail or anything at the top. I'll add a wire guard, that way I can put a jump ring or something on there, and we'll come back after we are ready to finish up and show you how we're gonna add that wire guard. So coming through now and adding in my last 15O, I brought the picture over. I think I did a pretty good job, and I had fun picking out colors for this. I don't often get to do a lot of other people's designs, and it's fun sometimes to not think and to just make. So I get it. I totally understand the whole, I didn't have to think about the exact spacing and what size beads, and the pendant really is gorgeous. Now in her design, Vila didn't have an actual topping to it as far as to attach it. Maybe she did a jump ring or something like that. I thought I would show you how to put an actual wire guard on. So I'm going to push hers off to the side here. And I think I forgot to mention that I did use the metallic Aqua in the Eva beads. If you're not familiar with the Eva beads, they are 6 by 9mm, and they're that nice chevron shape. So we have the Eva beads that are in there, as well as those DiscDuos. Again, the DiscDuos are in the Crystal AB matte. So what I'm going to do is add this wire guardian, or the wire guard. Go ahead up through the next 15 after you finish your project, up through the next of your Eva beads. And I have a size 10 needle on my .006 white wildfire thread. So you could have also actually used the .008 thread because you're not going through these beads multiple times. If you do want to go back around and reinforce, because it's not actually that large of a pendant, it's not floppy or anything, the sides aren't falling down as I'm working with it, but if you do want to go back and reinforce, you'll want to use the .006. I'm going to go up through that DiscDuo as well. And then as you're going through the DiscDuo, sometimes you'll catch right away onto that 11O seed bead. If you do catch onto the 11O, go ahead and go for it because we're going to go through it anyway. I'm going out through the 11O where I actually do that little picot trim along the top. Go through the first of the 15s. So just the first one that's there. Then you're going to add your wire guard, or your wire protector. If you're unfamiliar with that, it has a little kind of tube on one side, has a little U channel, and then has a tube on the other side. It's going to protect our thread, which is going to sit right inside there. And we're going to come down to the other 15-0 on the opposite side. So we're skipping the middle 15-0. That's going to hang out right in the middle of our wire guard. Pull that nice and tight. And that thread, you want to make sure that it does sit inside the wire guard. And there you have it. So I'm going to reinforce that one more time, going back through that 11-0 seed bead that we have the picot trim coming off. Go up through the 15-0 seed bead, through the wire guard or the wire protector. Once we're through there, come down to the other side to finish this up. The final step that I need to do is bring the thread and needle back into the project so that way I can tie it off to the original starter thread. After doing so, I'll take my cord cutter or my thread burner and actually burn off the extra thread there too. So you're coming out the 15, you're gonna go back through that 11-0 and down the side then of the 11-0s in towards that DiscDuo, back down through our Eva bead. And then once you're out the Eva bead, you're gonna retrace the thread and needle back in towards that center. Again, we don't wanna see any extra thread. So we're gonna go over through the 15, then we're gonna go through that SuperDuo. As you go through the SuperDuo, you're gonna down step into the second hole of that SuperDuo. That white thread's gonna be on the side of the white, so you're not gonna see it. I'm going back through the 15-0 and into the first row of my SuperDuo beads. Bringing the thread and needle out then. Right there. Once I'm through here, I'm gonna again step down, going through that first hole of that SuperDuo bead there. And then guess what? That's where the thread started. So I go in here and I'm just going to do a nice tie off, right over left, left over right, and tie off my Starlight Pendant. You can do this in a variety of different colors. You can check out, if you haven't checked out the Bead app, check that out. You can check it out in your iTunes store, in your Google Play. Play around with the beads before you actually have to buy them. You can see exactly what fit you want, and even play around with the colors so that way you know what actual finishes and colors you want to purchase from us at PotomacBeads.com as well as PotomacBeads.eu. And I'm going to take these two ends then here with my cord cutter, bring those back, burn that off, and then from here I'm going to go in and burn those down nice and flush against the project. And again, I have that knot right on one of the white sides of my duet beads, and you're all finished. So Vila Beckwith went through an awesome process designing with the actual Bead app and then bringing it to life. She posted in our Facebook group for beading and jewelry making the actual finished product that she did. And it's a little cold here with some stormy, snowy weather actually in process. So it was a great day to record this and make this Starlight pendant. Thanks so much again to Vila for helping and designing this pendant on the Bead app. Again, thank you so much to Vila for sharing your design that you created on the Bead app and then came to actually fruition, making the cool Starlight pendant. Remember that if you do want to get any of the materials, you can shop with us at PotomacBeads.com. You can find links to the products below me in the description near that subscribe as well as that like button. Remember to give a little shout out to Vila. Thank you for the design. And if you haven't checked out the Bead app yet, definitely download that, check it out, and have fun creating and designing with that as well. Thanks so much for joining me, and have fun as always with doing all of your beading work.